Here's how to easily land on the moon in Kerbal Space Program for all the beginners. So first things first, you're going to want to make a rocket, so let's do that. And there we go. Obviously, you don't have to use the same rocket as I've built, but this one will work, and it will work really well. But if you want to make something similar, you just have to make sure that the thrust is at the same level and you have fins. Once you get into orbit, to get to the moon, you have to aim to where it's going to be. You can more precisely do this by either making a maneuver node or burning towards the moon when it's on the horizon in orbit. Once you finish your maneuver node and get it really nice and low, you can start your burn. Once you get towards the end of the burn, you need to lower the thrust on your engines. This is so you can have more control on where your actual trajectory is versus what your maneuver node is. So you can see here I'm slowly lowering it down to 15 kilometers, which is pretty good for a flyby to get into orbit. Once you reach the lowest point in your orbit, also known as the periapsis, you want to point retrograde and start burning. You don't need a maneuver node for this. This is just for an example. Once you find a landing spot you like in the map view, you can start your deorbit burn. I picked these craters in this case. Once you actually get to landing on the surface, you don't need to be fancy with it. You don't need to like slowly lower your thrust. You can do erratic little bursts, such as I'm doing, and then touchdown. It's as easy as that. Once you've landed, it's time to plant a flag and grab some surface samples and whatnot. Now that you've landed on the moon, that's only about half of it. Now you gotta get back, which is an entire other challenge. And that's what I'm gonna show you. So, let's continue. When you're ready to take off, you need to point east, which is signified by the 90-degree marker on the nav ball. So, yeah, there you go. So once you start doing that, you want to almost immediately turn. You don't really need to gain that much altitude on the moon because there's no atmosphere, right? So once you get to about 11 kilometers, you're fine. Now to get home, see if your orbit is going counterclockwise or clockwise. If it's going counterclockwise, like I am, you want to burn on the point that is closest towards Kerbin. If you're going clockwise, you need to burn on the far side of the moon. These will let you get home easier. Then you can just watch your burn. Go out of the map screen and jump over to Kerbin. And you can see that by burning like this, it immediately lets my orbit get lowered straight from the moon. And you need to be really careful with what altitude you set your periapsis within Kerbin's atmosphere. I generally set it at about 20 kilometers. You can see me lowering the thrust. You want to set it to about 20 kilometers because that's like the perfect balance between heating and also slowing down. Now that you're back at Kerbin, it's just gotta separate away from lander module and point retrograde. Bonus of checking the signs, watching it burn apart. Once you're about 5,000 meters over the surface, you can safely pull your parachute and just fall through the clouds. And now you've officially gone to the moon and back in Kerbal Space Program. If you did like this tutorial, and you like Kerbal Space Program, you should keep playing it. I'm gonna throw some shit on screen right now. This game is awesome, and I hope all you guys keep playing it after this. Anyways, thanks for watching.